3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
All right, Fairwinds CrossFit, it is Grounds After Rounds, and you're hanging with me, Coach Eric, and I'm flying solo this week. So last week you got to hear from Coach Jack as he got to sit down with Athlete Joe over a cup of Joe, and it was just great time, great interview. Love to hear from Joe. And so Jack's on vacation this week. We switched roles. Jack's on vacation this week, and so I'm here with Grounds After Rounds. And in typical Eric fashion, had the podcast going, had the recording going, and it cut off, and I didn't even realize it cut off. And so this is kind of my intro into this week's episode of Grounds After Rounds. So I got to meet up and chat with Will Lanier of the Out Foundation and now Out Athletics, formerly Out WAD. And he's not just with the organization, he is the founder of the organization. And so I've been working closely with Will, getting our upcoming Out Athletics event going August 8th, 10 a.m. Saturday. Mark your calendars, register, sign up for the event. All the details are in there. We're going to have 18 people in person, and the rest will be done on Zoom, very similar to the way we did Murph. But I got to sit down with sit down with Will and got to know a little bit about him. Will, I was introduced to by Alex, Mr. Alex Ray. And it was a great conversation. So where it cut off, what you got to miss was kind of the backstory of who Will is and what makes Will who he is, and how this Out WAD and Out Athletics thing came to be. So you can learn more about Will. Go to the Out, look for the Out Foundation on the interwebs, and Out Athletics on Instagram, and you'll see a lot of stuff about Will. But just quick little summary here. Will is he currently resides in Austin. He was living in New York when he started this Out WAD thing, and he was at a gym, and he knew that he wanted to do something that brought together the LGBTQ plus community into this really special community that he was already a part of. So CrossFitters, we kind of have this bubble, which sometimes can have pluses and sometimes can have minuses, but he wanted to bring more people into that bubble. And so he started running an Out WAD, which the idea was to say, hey, for those of you that are in this specific community, we want you to see that this is a place that you can come and be healthy and find people of similar mindset in you and similar values and that sort of thing. And so kind of introducing, and this was he started doing CrossFit back in like 2010, and he kind of started doing this thing. And so the first time he ran an Out WAD event, he said it was about 5 or 6 people, not many. Ran another one a little bit later, jumped up to about 15. Within about a year, he was getting like 100 people to show up to this event and to this workout. It was literally just a community event centered around working out and getting to know this community, this welcoming, great community that CrossFit is and can be. And he said at that point, it jumped out to like people were hitting him up from like LA and Chicago, and how can we be a part of this, and how can we do this? And there were businesses that were hitting him up and saying, how can we help support you? And so it's grown now almost 10 years later into this really great event where they've been able to build this scholarship fund. And so the scholarship serves about $5,000, serves about one individual, and what this scholarship program will bring is someone of the community. There's a rigorous application process and a committee that helps decide who gets these scholarships, but what it will provide an individual is a full year's membership, ideally to something that's a community fitness activity. So whether it's CrossFit, whether it's yoga, whether it's spinning, not necessarily a 24-hour gym where you can go and pop your headphones on, jump on your elliptical, and call it a day. Like we want and Will wants people to interact with each other and get to know each other and be a part of a community, be a part of this thing that he's driving to build. It will also provide nutrition with a nutrition counselor, as well as providing meals. So they're working, I think, with Icon Meals, and they've worked with other companies in the past, so that this athlete also gets meals provided to them to help them reach their fitness goals. So they track macros and any sort of certain nutrition limitations, whether they're vegan or they want to go keto. And so dialing that in for them, as well as a lot of other stuff. They have they recently ran a more of like a mental health or a mental wellness seminar recently, where he said, especially in the LGBTQ plus community, you're already talking about people that are dealing with, isolation and depression, and now through these last few months of COVID, just kind of stacking onto those things. And so he put together this thing to kind of help get people through that and talk about that in ways that you can manage that. So they Outwad and Out Athletics and the Out Foundation are trying to treat and trying to find very holistic ways of treating the human body, mind, body, soul, all that good stuff. And so he's really been working hard, and he's a really cool dude. And the more I've gotten to know him and the more I've gotten to talk to him, the more I just feel like we're so connected on so many levels. So again, I apologize. I had a great chat with him. You're catching in. We're cutting in about halfway through, which is when I realized that it was stopped recording on me. So I apologize for that. But again, plenty of more information you can find on Will. You'll also get to see and hear from him on August 8th when we run our Out Athletics event. So a lot of really cool stuff coming up. Check out Will. Catch up. Go ahead and keep listening for another about 30 minutes. You get to hear more from Will and what he's got going on and what this crazy world that we live in now is bringing at you. So thank you, everyone, for a great week. Check it out, Will Lanier and yours truly talking about Outwad, Out Athletics, Out Foundation, and all things under the sun around that. So take it away, Will.
Last year for 20 spots. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you got so once those get all put in, you got your work cut out for you picking the.
Yeah. There's a committee. We have a committee now. So I'm not on it. I'm like, y'all handle that program and ask me questions if you need me, but like take it off my plate. So it's a really cool program. I'll sometimes hop on the calls with them and just see them all together and just see them. You see like their growth from like the first call to like the 7th call. Like someone who might be quiet and wouldn't speak up in the first call, just kind of like running the show on the 7th or 8th call. And it's just really cool to see their progression and also like know that we had a little hand in helping this person not only get more healthy and fit, but also like come out of their shell and be more comfortable with who they are as a person. So
I was curious about that too, because I know in the LGBTQ community, like depression and even like suicide, like it's, even like later down the line, even whether it's, in the trans community, whether even it's post-op or it's, in that community, whether it's coming out, like you don't see those numbers change that much.
Right.
Are you finding that through the scholarship, are you finding that change? I don't know what kind of level you can get involved from that side of it, but statistic-wise, but are you finding any testimonials or something where people are finding that being part of a gym and improving their health and wellness and fitness and all that stuff is finding these obviously positive outcomes?
Yeah, I mean, we've had like a lot of our athletes are from the trans community or the non-binary community,
right.
And some transition while they're in the program, and we're their support system for that, and their gym is actually really their support system in that. And it's really great to see. And I think, when we worked with CrossFit 2 years ago to lift the trans ban at the CrossFit Games at that level, I think that the reason we wanted that to happen is to show the trans community that they are welcome at CrossFit gyms.
Right.
Obviously, that community is welcome at many CrossFit gyms. I can't speak for all CrossFit gyms. They're all owned by different people. But when they see like a governing body or what could be construed as a governing body exclude, their community from competing, they see that as like, oh, there's going to be no place for me. So just having that lifted from the games, we knew that we were going to see more trans folks come to CrossFit gyms. So, what year was that? 2 years ago. So in 2018, we did a tour. We did the Don't Be an Asshole trans education tour. Yeah. We went to 12 big cities and brought a panel of people, trans athletes, trans gym owners, and other advocates to sit on the panel and kind of just say what it means to be trans, how you can be more inclusive, because we knew it was kind of like our job to prepare gyms for their community broadening. So you want to make sure that you're not an accidental asshole,
right?
Because a lot of the stuff that we would bring up are just very much accidents, that you were just not being aware of like vernacular that you're using that could be construed as, or is construed, or is, not welcoming to the trans community. So
right.
We did that tour. It was so fun. It was whirlwind. It was 12 cities in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to the hospital. I like the last city we were in was San Francisco, and it was like I got severe dehydration from flying so much.
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital. It was awful.
A labor of love.
All for the cause.
All for the cause. Oh my gosh.
I think I'm still paying that hospital bill.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'll say one thing that I had a conversation with Alex a while back, and when he had joined our gym, and it's one thing that too I had never thought about, and he just said, and never thought about it as in like, so he said he came here and he was working out and he got to know people and something like that, and in here he was Alex. He was so Jack, again, my partner, he puts up some pretty good numbers, throughout the week in the workouts, right? And Alex was known as the guy that was pushing a lot of Jack's scores, right? But it wasn't Alex, the gay guy. Like, it wasn't known as Alex, the gay guy in the gym, you know what I mean? And I think we had like 3 or 4 Alexes, and he was like, he really appreciated that. And I was like, oh, I guess I never would have thought of singling him out as that. I was like, hey, have you guys met Alex? No, which one's Alex? The tall gay guy. Like, and so I'm not gonna say like I was puffing my chest out with pride, but it was just kind of that thing where it's casual, even though someone's open about it. People in the gym and in here and in other communities, they just recognize each person as a person. And so we've always kind of been that way with, we don't offer military discounts here, because just when you walk in the gym, it doesn't matter if you're military, it doesn't matter if you're a social worker, it doesn't matter if you are a ship captain or a teacher. Like, everyone coming in here, we call them Creek people. We sit right on Back Creek here in Annapolis. You're a Creek person, and when you walk in the gym, that's all you are, and you go from there. And we've always kind of prided ourselves, and that's our identity as a gym. It's just hey, it doesn't matter if you're trying to go to the games, or if you're, prudent 63-year-old just became a grandmother snatching 35 pounds over your head. Like, that you're just here to do your thing, and we support that, and that's what that is. So, and we've a lot of different people from a lot of different places have made their way in here, and it's kind of made that cool community. So, I'm glad we've tried to uphold those standards, whether knowingly or not, from not being assholes.
Exactly, and it comes from the top down. When the owners and the coaches act and treat each other a certain way, it's gonna spill into the membership. And like, so my gym here that I go to, there's a pride flag that hangs like year round. It's one of the owners is a lesbian, and her partner Michael, there at the gym, he was like, how do we feel about the pride flag? Like, what is our decision when we put this up? Because they knew they were going to probably lose some members. And they decided, like, look, if people are upset about this, those aren't the kind of people we want in our community anyway. Because again, from the top down, it's like acceptance. Everyone here is equal. And, if you don't like the pride flag, then you're probably not going to like, our gym is pretty queer. It's probably the gayest gym in Austin. And you'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's like, we're everywhere. But to get over. but it is that, that management and that like your values come from you, like as the gym owners. And I think I love that. I love when I see that. And the members want to make sure that they maintain your values as well. So I think I love to see.
Yeah, yeah, and I love to see that in other gyms. I was kind of through all the stuff that's going on. I think one thing too, I appreciate people too. Like if you disagree, so when all this stuff happened with Classman and BLM and all that stuff, one thing that I'm not going to say I was surprised, but things got weird and people were uncomfortable. And when people became uncomfortable, some people in that, and I'm not talking about here in the gym, but in particular, just they get angry and they walk away and they say, we're not going to do this, or they talk about it. And so I appreciate about anything, like if we did something and you don't agree with it, let's have that conversation. And I think if anything, like I'm totally okay if someone disagrees with me, and I hope you're okay if I disagree with you. But I'm going to be respectful, and we're going to have those conversations, and maybe we find some sort of middle ground.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I think that's where we are in the world too, is like people are going to have differing opinions. And, I just like being open to, like, you feel this way, I feel this way. At the end of the day, I want you to squat. I want you to squat well.
Right, exactly.
And I want you to be healthy and fit. And I want you to be able to preach whatever it is that you want to preach long into your years. And
I was listening to a podcast yesterday, last week's episode of the Joy and Claire podcast, formerly Girls Battle Log, and they had this guy JK on there, and I'm terrible because I didn't follow his podcast, but his podcast is like, help me understand. It's called Help Me Understand or Help Me whatever, something along those lines. And his whole shtick is to invite people on to talk about uncomfortable topics that help them understand. And he was saying something in their podcast about, you're not ever here to change someone's mind. You're just here to share, and I'm probably going to bastardize his message, but you're here to share your thoughts and listen. And I'm here to share my thoughts and listen. And there are some things that you may say that will help me see more clearly or see in your life. But he's like, you never want to have a conversation where it's like, I'm right, you're wrong, that's the only way it is.
Right.
Because, aside from like, and Joy brought this up, aside from like abusing animals, we can all have a different opinion, right? But if you abuse animals, you're not going to explain to me the reasons you think this is great.
Yeah, exactly. When you come with that combative attitude of trying to find I want to change your mind to show you that I'm right. Like, I think you're probably both going to walk out of there in the same place you were when you got there.
Exactly. And like, where's the point in that? And he talked about like not giving that your mental energy. And I thought it was beautiful. Like,
yeah,
you only have so much mental energy. And like, I would love to share my story with you, and I'd love you to share your story with me. And if we can like come out of that with something cool and like learn something.
Yeah.
No. But I'm like,
yeah. There's plenty of times too where I've walked out of conversations. You can either walk out of a conversation angry, or you can just walk out like, maybe you didn't change my mind, or I didn't change your mind, but like that was a good chat. Like, that was cool. Maybe I took some away from it. Maybe it didn't change my mind, but I learned from a different perspective. And
exactly. And that's the way we have to look at the world like that. Like,
yeah.
Everyone sees it.
Yeah, just be open to hearing what other people have to say, and I don't know. I like to think it makes for a good community too, because I think about it too it's with family. Like, you disagree with family. I disagree with my family all the time, but we always come back, and like we always, because they're your family, and I feel like this is a CrossFit gym in particular is very much an extended family. Maybe they don't feel that way, but I sure feel that way, because I sure do put a lot of energy.
Not my extended, they're like my close family. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. My wife jokes all the time. She goes, "You are Pastor Eric and Pastor Jack of the Church of Fairwinds. Like, you have your flock, and you tend to your flock morning, noon, and night."
That is not untrue.
Yeah. So yeah, you've been there. So
totally.
Yeah.
All your little chickens.
That makes for good times for sure.
Yeah.
So So cool. Well, let's go into, so coming up August 8th, Out Athletics and Fairwinds CrossFit coming together. First hybrid. We're going to have 18 in-person spots available that will be chosen by lottery. No hour-long applications there. Those are random. You'll find out 2 days before the event to whether or not you got one of those in-person spots. The rest will be done online on Zoom. You'll get a Zoom link in there, and you'll be able to follow along. So, and this is open to everyone, right? So it's not Fairwinds community limited. This is open to everybody. So, so we might need to get a bigger monitor than. We have a projector. Maybe I need to put the projector up on one of the walls. And so people asked about the WOD. So you and I kind of gone back and forth a little bit about what the WOD might look like or go. So you want to go on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
we're still figuring it out, but the general idea.
I can show you exactly what I have planned for it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like what you've done there. Oh, beautiful.
That is the WOD so far.
Perfect. But what we've done, we talked about what you've done in the past.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Make a good joke, give some people to laugh at them. I don't know if this will be a video that you put out or just the sound. Anyway,
we do audio and video. So
okay. So typically, when we're not in a quarantine situation, we would have a team style workout where we would pick your teams. People love that. People hate that. But we force people to interact with each other. For safety's sake, we're probably not going to be able to do that. At least within 6 feet of each other.
Yeah.
So the workout, would typically involve minimal equipment, but still some equipment, but accessible equipment. So a kettlebell, a medicine ball, a dumbbell, nothing that would require advanced skill. If you want to make it harder, you just go heavier, you go higher, or go harder. So I still envision that we will utilize those pieces of equipment, an erg of some sort, a bike of some sort if we want, a kettlebell, a medicine ball, and combine those movements.
Here we have I think 9 or 10 ergs, and we have kettlebells, but we also got these Jack found them, but they're these handles. I forget what they're called, but they're basically these handles that you clip on the kettlebell, onto a dumbbell, and make these kettlebells.
Yeah, those are cool. So something in that realm. There will be running. There will be body weight movements. It will be kind of interval training. So it'll be work for a bit, rest for a bit, work for a bit, station everything out. So you won't be seeing this huge 45-minute behemoth of a thing. It'll be broken up into achievable sections. I love a good sprint workout, and I love multiple sprint workouts. So that's really what that'll be. If you're not stuck, if you have the opportunity to do it at home, then those movements will be different. You will still be doing things in a 6 or 7 minute spurt, but the movements will be different. So that's how I envision it. I'm going to send you some stuff tomorrow to go over.
It's fun. I think we're giving people just enough, just a taste.
Yeah. There will be burpees. I'm so sorry.
I tell you, quarantine has upped everyone's burpee capacity significantly. So if anything, they're hoping. I think I speak for everyone. I say they're hoping for burpees.
Yeah. Maybe there'll be crawls. Maybe we'll just take out the push-up.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, perfect.
We love it.
Sweet.
But yeah, something like that. It'll be fun.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun regardless. Yeah. And what's nice too is I always think of when I'm coaching. So I was a spin instructor before I started doing CrossFit.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. And I used to beat myself up when I would have my workout planned out, and I'd have the playlist planned out, and then something would happen, maybe I missed something, or I meant to do a hill here and it turned into a sprint here.
A sprint, yeah.
Right. I'd be so mad at myself, oh my God, I totally screwed it up. They have no idea.
No idea.
No idea that I messed it up. Yeah. So when you and I, when we're running this show and it's doing its thing, it's oh man, that got so. Maybe they have no idea that it was it's flowing exactly the way we needed it to.
Exactly. Oh my God. I used to flub so hard in
Yeah.
spin. I love spin. Like, give me a bike, I will teach you a spin class. Like, I
Yeah.
still love it. But oh yeah, no one knows.
No one knows.
It's not supposed to be a heavy hill. Yeah, we were meant to be, double timing that. Oops, forgot.
Oops,
Whatever.
yeah. Oh, sorry. You're standing this time.
Yeah.
I remember I used to do, there were some days too where I would I would totally just wing it. I'm not gonna lie. I had no class plan. I just was like, maybe I got called to sub last minute. I turn on a playlist that I know I've used before and just go with the flow of the song.
Yeah.
I have no idea. At least I don't think they did.
Right.
And so it was man, spin was, I think that's when I found too that I really enjoyed being in front of, not just being in front of people and being the center of attention, but also being in charge of what they do. So it was like, I graduated high school having no idea what I wanted to do. I went to college thinking I wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and just went all over the map. Anyone that's listening now, that's listened to the podcast before, knows that I have tried all the jobs ever. But it's always led to, like, I like attention, and I like being heard and seen. Hopefully not to an obnoxious amount. So I think spinning was the first time it was like ooh.
Yeah, give me a little headset.
Yeah.
Down. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh, I hated the headset. I was like, no. My voice will do it. I can be loud.
Well,
I hated it.
I taught it like it wasn't before CrossFit. It was actually while I was still CrossFitting. It was like 2 years ago. So we had, the lights, the boom music, like it's, a different beast.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
So fun though.
Cool.
I knew I'd like to.
Yeah. We've always been like this, Will.
Yeah.
Always been like this.
It's always been. Yeah.
Awesome.
We live the same.
Yeah. Well, cool. So one thing we do with this podcast too, as we're closing out. So one thing Jack and I always do, we do a gratitude of the week. So I'll put you on the spot. Sometimes I should let you know ahead of time, but I think it'll be fine. But we just do a gratitude every week. So one podcast that we listen to a lot is Chris Beeler and Doug Zakaris, the Icon Athlete podcast, and they always do their pet peeves at the end of the week, which we thought was hysterical and always so much fun. We went the other direction. I was like, what is one thing that our gratitude? What are we grateful or thankful, or what brought us a smile or a feeling of warmth this week? So if you're feeling good, like, go first. I can go first, and whatever you're feeling, we'll knock it out that way.
You go first, because I have a couple.
Oh, good. Cool. Well, mine's simple. Mine's and I dropped it at our staff meeting yesterday, but I was talking to one of our coaches, and she was talking about how she's just like, I'm the old hat, I'm the old lady, and I had that thought of how you perceive yourself here may be totally different from how someone else perceives you. And so, my wife and I were on vacation last week, and then it was my daughter and my wife's birthday last week. So I didn't get a lot of workouts in, but I definitely ate a lot of hot dogs, and probably ate more than I needed to. And then back into this week, and I'm just feeling like, I'm just so fat and slow and like out of shape, and can't believe I'm teaching people how to be fit. And so that's probably a little extreme, but that's how my body feels right now. And I was at my parents' house yesterday. My parents have and my sister has like 170-pound like mastiff, like big dog. It's always barking, huge. And my daughter, who's just turned 3, is a little nervous around him. A, because she's been attacked by a dog before, but B, like he's totally like bowled her over once. I had to go inside to get something, and while I was inside, my wife was saying that my daughter Fiona was asking, is like Roland's in there, the dog Roland's in there, and he's big and he's scary. And she's like, don't worry, Daddy's gonna be okay. And she said, you're right, Daddy's strong and has big muscles. I was like, oh, so she told me that. I was like, oh, where I feel like I'm like this, just like kind of like dad sack, this week, but like my daughter looks at me as, well, I say Superman, but maybe more so like Batman. But she sees me in this like totally different light, that like I'm beating myself up, but this person that means so much to me sees me in this other light. And I was like, oh, that's a good feeling. That's a nice, like, that's my gratitude for the week. It's just she kind of switched my perspective. Sometimes you beat yourself up and you're hardest critic, but other people see you in a much different light than you may realize. So that's mine for the week.
That is such a good one. Mine's probably not as like.
Hey, yours, I mean, mine's been as simple as I had a really good iced coffee the other day and it just made my day. So the bar like raises and lowers based on.
So I won't feel so bad.
Yeah.
So I moved to Austin 2 years ago, and like I said, I'm moving back to New York next week. And I guess like a year ago, I found like my go-to bar. And I know this sounds dumb, but like, you know, you find that place that you like to go, you like the ambiance, and you go there for happy hour. So I would go to this place called June's once a week with one of my girlfriends. We'd go for like, they have half off rosé, bubbly rosé.
Nice.
Pretty much every day, but we go on Wednesdays. But over the past 3 months, we haven't been able to do that. And so Clarissa texted me a couple days ago, and she's like, "Hey, June's is open, but they're only seating 2 tables or 3 tables at a time inside because it's this big old space, but they're like being very obviously cautious." She's like, "I got us a spot at 4:00 yesterday." And it was just, I was grateful to be able to go there in a safe way and like experience that one more time before I move. And it was like, you know, it felt like home. It felt cool. Yeah. I cannot drink rosé like I used to when I was doing it every week. Like, I was like, I can't do this. But I always get like rosé and French fries. It was just like really, it just like felt
like
normal.
This is your like, yeah, this is like one of those things that you'll always take with you from Austin.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's
I mean, like those are, yeah, man, like those feelings are nice. I feel like you can find a lot of places that bring that to you, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it could be a whole new world now in New York.
Oh yeah.
You can take that little piece with you. Going back. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is awesome. Thanks so much. I'm really glad you jumped on. I'm really stoked about everything coming up. I'm really stoked about seeing where Out Athletics goes now that it's, man, you're already booming. And well, like I said, your schedule is going to get a little bit busier too outside of this, right?
Yeah. Law school starts in about a month.
Is that all going to be on? Have they already decided that's all going to be online now?
We're going to have 1 class in person that meets twice a week, and we will have our other 3 classes will be virtual.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
cool.
Hit me up in Fordham if you're around.
Awesome. I'll make sure.
I will be carrying my iced coffee around, trying to like do all the things forever.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Cool.
Thanks for this. This is awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I'm glad. Appreciate the short notice. I appreciate you jumping on. And
hey, of course.
Yeah, we got a busy couple weeks ahead of us, so we're gonna knock this one out of the park.
It's gonna be good.
That's the first pancake you've ever had.
I'm so ready for a good pancake.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks so much, man. I will talk to you. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. I'll text you later.
Cool. See you well.